What's the playstyle for Convergence meant to be? Do you create a class, get all the stuff for that class, then start over? I think you're meant to kind of just go for all the keystones. So there's like different bosses drop these things called keystones. There's 5 total that you need to access like the end game in Convergence mod. So I think the idea is
go forth, touch the demon inside me.
you just you get all your like gear and weapons and spells and stuff for your class, and you just like boss rush it. Starting up the YouTube stream.
Go forth, touch the demon inside me.
Yo, Mike, thank you for the 53 months. And Echo Void, thank you for the 5 months. I wonder if this still takes me to the front of Landell. So yeah, we have the Lake of Rot ahead of us, chat. Lake of Rot has been like completely redone from what I've heard. So I'm pretty fucking stoked. Oh yeah, we are back here. Okay. So we already went through Landell. You know, we also haven't gone through... Kind of want to go through CO for a bit, but... I can go there later. Hello, Yuzuki. Yeah, I've been really enjoying Convergence mod. It actually feels like I'm playing a new DLC for Elden Ring. I will say I do think the balance of the maybe it's just this class and I've got like a good build, or like this class's weapons are just pretty strong. I definitely feel pretty OP in this mod. Everything is broken as shit. I see. Someone said this class was mid. Yeah, I mean, there's probably... I wouldn't be surprised. Like, other classes are probably more OP. I don't know. It almost feels like you could just play this entire mod with a +0 weapon, and that would be like probably the difficulty that I would want. Hey, K-Transplanter. Like, Reforged mod master difficulty was so ball-bustingly difficult. I wouldn't want Convergence mod to be like that, necessarily. But I do think Convergence mod is a little... I don't know. It's definitely a bit on, like, the easier side with how much really strong stuff there is. And maybe the devs, maybe Couch Jockey and them just want it to be, like, more of a power fantasy kind of thing. I don't really know. Hello, Beebs. Wait a second, that just... Wait, what? Oh, fuck. How do I get to the Lake of Rot, then? Maybe I actually have to do Ronnie's quest. Yeah, just mod the boss's health to be higher. Forehead. Well, yeah, we can go in the Belfry Tower, but we have to do Ronnie's quest. I think they might have even fixed the skip they used to be able to do. spell sucks ass. The Touch of Frenzy is pretty good though. It uses like no mana. Got him. I mean, my weapon does a lot of damage. Is this gameplay? So, okay, so chat, I have an ability, it's called Cloud Form. It lets me run while casting and like using stuff. And so I can also run while using this. You just like constantly shoot fire from your hand, but I can run while doing it. So I can like dodge, I can like strafe shit while I'm while I'm attacking at the same time. It's pretty silly. I also forgot to use my physic. It's funny because this is one of like the weaker. Yeah, it's a frenzy spell. So we've been going for the storm stuff, the storm armor and weapons, and the frenzy armor and weapons. Is this a mid build? Probably. I'm sure you can get like so incredibly OP in this. I also still want to go to Hyetta, because Hyetta will give us another set of spells. The radiant stuff, yeah, I wanna do it. I just can't remember. How many eyeballs do you need to give Hyetta? Is it? There's like the fingerprint grape, but then there's, is it 2 normal and 1 fingerprint? It's 3 plus Vikes. Well, so 1 is after Godric, but where are the other 2? I can't say I remember. Dude, you just get so much free damage when this dragon spawns in. You bitch. Oh, come on. I was just about to stagger him, man, but then my R2 fucking... Oh, that's... Is that sped up? Yeah, I already got Vikes. Yo, what's up, Salad? Edgar, Invader, and Shaq. Wait, is that at Jarburg? What, this shack? The Revenger shack? Eastern Liurnia. That is west, my boy. Wonder if anything else has changed here. It looks, yo, dude, it would be cool if they like make a fucking city up in Moonlight Altar. Although I guess that would be kind of weird. Like lore-wise, I guess that might not make sense. But I do wonder if they've changed anything here. Doesn't really seem like it, at least in terms of map changes. I mean, maybe something is different when you go to... Wait, who's this? Oh, right, there's 2 dragons here. I forgot about this. I hate that attack, man. Why are you flying? Oh, for fuck's sakes. God damn it. That guy gives like nothing. I thought he gave more. That is some chump change. Wait, this isn't... Oh, this is where the Everjail is. Right. Well... Hey, Danger Mouse. Hello, Levent. Hello, Valak. Hey, Coo Boy. Oh shit. Yeah, you can do seamless co-op with Convergence. Free level ups, I guess. Yeah, the Great Katana weapon class is so good. I mean, that's what we used for like half of the run in the Ruin Level 1 speedrun bounty. I don't think anything has changed here, to be honest. I'm just gonna go. I want to get out of here. Although I feel like I remember there being a note that said something about there being item at the Moonlight Altar. I don't know where it was though. Eh, whatever. Alright, let's go, we never actually went through the castle after we killed Godric. So we can go do that, and then we can grab the grape. Get the grape. Yeah, it's really easy to install the mod. You basically just it has an installer, and you just run the installer, and then that's it. They make it very easy because a lot of people are kind of stupid, especially when it comes to installing mods. I mean, I also get confused. Not like firing shots or anything. Alright. Am I gonna do a bow and arrow character? Maybe. The thing is, if I'm gonna, like, maybe I'll... It does feel like this mod is you're meant to do multiple characters, so... You know, potentially we'll, like, start over after we finish, like, one run, and... We'll see. I think I may have done that Lego. What's up, Jordan? Alright, oh, you know what? We need to go to the ruins over here. When you just follow the notes, then get your 5 forge keys. Well, you can get the stuff for any class, but like, the thing is, the mod is balanced around you not, like, if you explore everything and do every dungeon and kill every boss, you will get, like, really OP in the mod. You're not meant to, like... Now, you know, I'm just saying that the design philosophy of the mod and its balance is focused around you not exploring everything. So... You can get the spells of every single class and like the weapon for every single class, but you're gonna be really OP, and you're probably not gonna enjoy using the abilities as much because you're gonna be so OP. Are we gonna explore everything? Well, the thing is, every single area is meant for like a different class, right? So you can explore everything, but you're just gonna end up... Like, it makes more sense to, you start a new run with a different class, and then, you know, that class's route is going to take you to different locations. So each run is going to be different either way, you know? And that's kind of what's cool about the mod. I mean, some people might not like that aspect. I'm like getting some FPS. Hold on, I need to... I don't know if something is like stuck running in the background right now or what the fuck's going on, but... My game's kind of... My PC is being kind of loud. It's a little sus. So we got 2 grapes, and the 3rd grape is here. Yeah, I'm still on the 50-90. I should probably be, like, checking my temps and stuff to make sure everything's fine. Do I have to be, like, on part of the quest for this invader to show up? No, no milk in the PC. I can't remember exactly how this quest works. It's been so long. I don't think I can drop down there. There's a lot of work just for some spells, honestly. The donkey. That is Torrent, okay? Don't you dare call Torrent a donkey. It's beautiful.
Thank him, please. Deliver. Please, he can be stubborn.
Alright, yeah. How do you do this damn quest? I've only done this once. It appears here. Okay. Ha.
My name is. If I might be, would you donate my eyesight? But when I eat, it will lead me. Now I can. You are most kind. May the May the blessing.
Yeah, so the mounts in this actually make you faster as well, by the way. This mount has 10% faster speed chat. Yeah.
On a pill, and when I eat, when they rest, they're howling, they're frail. But you are. May the blessing of.
One of the grapes is here. Yeah, I already got that grape. I already did that. Ooh, you know what? Hold on. Would I do rune level 1 with this mod? Potentially. I mean, I would be down to try. 38 int. What is my total int? 36? Oops. Get a mount that allows you to fly. Honestly, I was just thinking that, like, I wonder... they should just make it so, like, after you beat the fucking run once, you can just, like, fucking fly. Just, like, break all the rules. I don't know how difficult it would be to make a flying mount, though. Probably quite difficult, I reckon. There's some aircraft mods. Actually, I do remember seeing some stuff like that before. Wait, so I don't think she's here yet. I think I messed something up. Turn Torn into a fighter jet. Yeah, but does he actually fly though? Or is it just like... It did? Oh, okay. That's funny then. Yeah, I have a 5090. Wait, where the fuck is she? Oh god, now I'm even more confused. Wait, where does she show up at Bellum Church? Oh no. Gave her 2 grapes. Oh right, I need... Oh, okay, wait, I got confused.
Stranger, thank you.
Oh my god, dude. How do you... But yeah, but I don't have the 3rd grape. I have to kill Edgar. He's gonna invade now, I guess, now that we've seen that. Yo, what's up, Caleb? I thought you were here when I was playing Convergence the other day. Maybe. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I played Convergence like 2 years ago. When it first came out. Maybe. I think you were, but it doesn't matter. Okay, right, she is here. Yeah, it's been cool to revisit this. Oh, there she is.
I'm on a pilgrim when I eat.
Alright, here you go.
Now I can set aside.
Yeah, I want to try like a melee only run as well.
Those noise. Sorry, don't mind me. I'll be fine.
Sorry. You just download it on Nexus Mods. Wait, I thought she's just supposed to be like right up against the wall here. Wait, is she down below? Maybe I didn't exhaust. Oh, I can't remember where she is. I don't know if I exhausted all of her dialogue. Ah, damn it. Fucking FromSoft quests are so fucking stupid. I love FromSoft, but their quests could, I don't know, dude. I'm not a huge fan of the way quests work in these games.
Have you ever heard there? I would truly distant, but I can't sense a peace without one.
Here you go.
Thank you. May the blessing.
Okay, so
I'm sure I'll be
now she will be at the prescription, right? I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. All right, Tulane Dell. Yo, what's up, Lobos? You done streaming already? Well, I guess so if you're here in the chat. Unless you just felt like saying hi. What build did you use in this mod, by the way? Did the Blood Heretic? Gotcha. New Bloodhound weapon. Yeah, there's so many new weapons. Like, it's actually, I think that's one of the most impressive things about the mod, is that there's so many cool new weapons to use. Wait, do I want to go? Yeah, I want to go this way. Spells as well. Yeah, well, of course. That's a given. I definitely want to do like another run after we're done with this with a different class. I mean, I could do some more base game Elden Ring. I'm not really sure what I want to do in like base game Elden Ring. Can I put chat on screen? Yeah, I had it off for the bounty I did the other day. I can put chat back on. Only 9 days left. You could already smell the complaints. Wait, what are you talking about? Night Rain? Oh my god, bro.
I like it.
Holy. It's better with no chat on screen. You know, I mean, I can run a poll and see if people want chat on screen. You want chat? You just want to have your pyramid be on the screen, Super Serpent. That's all you want. Yeah, no problem, Lobos. No problem. The resource cost of your next 3 attacks or spells is reduced by 100%. Dude, that's insane. You just get free spell casts at rune level 1. And it's +2 all stats. Wait, what chess piece was that? I already forgot. Oh, the Horned Warrior. We might as well use that. Although our armor is kind of clashing pretty badly. I'm not level 1. Yeah, but my previous armor gave me... I'm losing out on like, what, 2% physical damage, but I'm gaining... what, 10 level ups? Easily worth it. Great Samba Stone. I don't know if I'm not sure if the sewers is the same. I feel like it's the same. I really don't want to go through the sewers. I kind of want to just do the skip, to be honest. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. It's different? Well, too bad. If it was different, they would have changed the skip. Honestly, true. Dude, this spell probably lets you skip so much shit. Woo!
You print money.
I wonder
I like money.
I wonder if they like adjusted the way that boss scripts work. Because you could, I feel like you could just AI break a lot of the bosses with this spell too. Did he just miss me with that? I will wait for my punish window. Okay. Oh my god, I almost just died. I said I wasn't gonna be greedy, and then I was greedy.
Oh, Elden Ring.
Oh, Spicy just got a sub. What the? Yo, Gunnar, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, man. Do I really need more endurance? Not really. Alright, so... Wait, what did we just get from him? Nothing crazy, really. Alright. Let's go down. Dang it. Oh, that's awkward. I'm dead. Hey, Grebo, thank you for the 45 months.
Ranger, thank you.
I was trying to do the cool skip. All right, man. Hold on. We can still do it. I think doing it like this. Boom.
So you're here as well, are you? I realized as we've talked, I'll be a maiden, and you...
Yeah, I had to do Hayata's quest for my, like, max level spells.
After divesting yourself of your possessions, it will surely open, and the 3 fingers will welcome you. May the flame of chaos find purchase within you.
Never seen that. Yeah, that I love that strat. Just riposting all the way down. Hey, memory leak, thank you. Oh, do I actually need to take the...
Good, it will surely open.
Oh shit, I actually need to... Alright. Hold on, I'm gonna stretch real quick, chat. While the fingers touch me.
Awesome choice, stranger.
Hey, Kikos, thank you for the 10 months. Have you done, like, modded Elden Ring stuff, Lepa? I guess you've probably done randomizer before. I definitely recommend checking this mod out if you feel like playing more Elden Ring. Yeah, I've got the max body sliders. The big thick lady. Yo, Stennis, thank you so much for the raid, man. How is your DS2 rando going?
Could you please ruin me with...
Alright, give me my spells.
Oh,
Just let me melt your face off real quick.
my eyes. My eyes. They're melting. Thank I have touched them. As your maiden, allow me to divine them. All that there is then came from the greater torment. Everyone and so melted into. Those saying they wish to come there, take their to melt it no more.
Hey, ACOG Muffin, thank you for the 27 months. Alright. We got our Radiant, Frenzied Flame incantations. Ooh, shit. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's go watch Stennis die real quick.
Fucking. Wait, I thought it was doing a swap. What is this? Rotten, stop!
Ruh-roh. Oh, he's still alive. I really thought you were dead there. Oh.
I cannot believe this, dude.
Rip. Rotten was fucking...
Fucking. Wait, I thought it was doing a swap. What is this? Rotten, stop!
Rotten was like stuck behind Burnt Ivory King, so he like couldn't get close enough to actually start an attack. Or Fume Knight, sorry.
What
That's
is
so
this?
funny.
Rotten, stop!
The Smo tactics, yeah, fucking pushing Ornstein like into you. Yeah, that sucks, man. Skeleton Lords is such a nightmare. Eye of Chaos, Chaos Beam, Heart of Chaos, Three Finger Embrace, Apocalyptic Flames. Sounds so cool. Open a gateway into the realm of the Flame of Frenzy, bringing a small piece of its full power into the world around you. All enemies within a large area around you take damage and build madness. Hold to keep the portal open. Let flames take the world. All non-spell fire damage you deal, all absorption, 10 HP recovery, reduces the cost of weapon skills, lowers total FP and adds constant madness buildup. When madness triggers on you, it creates a large explosion that deals damage and builds madness on nearby enemies, and grants a stackable secondary effect on you that increases all non-spell damage by 5% and all absorption by an additional 10%. Interesting. That's kind of cool. There was one that I definitely wanted to try. We might have the stats to use it now, actually. Immunity to madness. Oh, it lowers your absorption? Well, it seems like the three-finger embrace kind of counteracts the lowered absorption anyways. But I guess if you're immune to madness, then you can't get the secondary trigger. Continuous beam of frenzied flame from your eyes. Alright, well, let's try these out. Well,
Pity our generation
sorry,
should
Melina.
give
It's
up
okay.
milk. Such is my goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, two of them are just buffs. These two. There's one that I wanted to try. It was like a death. It was a death buff. Oh, it's this one. Godwin's Vengeance. It creates an aura of deathblight around you. Increases all weapon damage and all absorption. Seems kind of nice, honestly. I don't have enough stats for it though yet. Wait, I can't use my physic while I'm down here? That's weird. Custom art for the spells. Yeah, this mod is like crazy, Stennis. The areas are completely changed. There's like different progression through a bunch of the areas. Alright, let's try these spells. Apocalyptic Flames. Holy shit. Wow. I can cover the whole place. That uses a lot of FP though. Die! Wait, so what does that do? Oh yeah, I think that just like causes madness to things around me. Jeez, that's so cool. I need to put my armor back on. No, I wasn't using the Stormcaller stuff, it was... Oh, the Banished Knight, that's what it was. Can hold the button to keep the portal open. I was holding it, but it drained my mana so much that I couldn't like keep it casting. Alright, well, I don't think there's much of a point in dropping down here. Defeating Midra. Well, okay, so the thing is, it says that you can get an armor set from Midra's Gaze, but there's no... I don't know, like, are the notes not updated if there's DLC spells? Because there's no Shadow Rune. We already checked the... There's no DLC spells for Frenzy yet. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's just somebody in chat saying there is, so... Classico. Alright. Well, we still need to get the Radiant Storm spells, too. It's a shame that the two classes that we're focusing on don't have any DLC spells yet, but... Well, they're... Every school of magic will have DLC spells at some point. They just don't yet. Yeah, we could go do Dancing Lion and Bellarat. I'm curious if... I'm guessing Bellarat's progression hasn't changed at all. Let's just go take one of the Air Trees to the DLC. There's only 2 that have Shadow Runes. Oh, okay. I see. I think Gravesite Plains is where we want to go. No, we haven't done Lake of Rot yet. Not yet. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I wonder how good is Chaos Beam? That's staggered. It's not bad. It uses a lot of mana. The thing is, our build is not set up for this like at all. We're kind of more in like a melee build. Wait, what the hell is that? Golden extract. Restores HP, FP, stam, and the flask of physic. Oh, you know that I feel like more could have been done with the flask of wondrous physic in the base game. I'm not gonna lie. Just like in Elden Ring in general. The physic is cool, but it would have been nice if you could upgrade it and potentially get more like physics slots as you get as you got like further into the game. That's just my opinion though. I still like the flask. I think it's cool. Sacrifice regular flasks for extra physic flasks. Something like that would be cool too, yeah. Physics give crazy effects. They do. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Alright, well, let's go do the lion and see what we can get from his armor set, I guess, just for the hell of it. And then I think I'm probably gonna go to Farum. I think we only need one more keystone. We have... Wait. What? That's... Oh, okay. I was like, why do we only have one keystone? But it's because we turned in the other keystones already. No, you're immortal? Not quite. I'm pretty strong, but I'm not immortal. You know, I wonder if I could just use the Arid Tree teleporters to get down to the Lake of Rot as well. Might be possible.
You must be the time I am answered now, like.
Oh yeah, so they actually got rid of the Scadutree fragments in the DLC. So that's kind of nice. I don't know. I liked what they were going for with the Scadutree fragments, but I think they should have kind of done them a different way. I still think more bosses should have dropped the fragments and not. They shouldn't have just been I mean, I think it's okay to have some just out in the world, but they should have been more just like progression where you kill a boss and you just get a fragment. I mean, that was the whole idea behind the Ruin Level 1 tournament that I did. Was that... Oh, wait, what the... What is that? Shadow Smithing Stone. Oh, wait, what? To plus 12? Oh my god. What the... have been more like Sekiro. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they kind of did it. Like, you get fragments from killing the hippo, but that's that's like the only one. Oh, shit. You get 5 from Gaius. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Oh my, I might be dead. That zip spell is so handy. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, the porcupine attack from the hippo. Oh my god, I almost just died. I feel like you'd have more health by now. I haven't leveled up my... Oh, you jerk. Dude, I fucking hate this enemy. Whatever, just honestly, just kill me. Just kill me, man. This kind of kills the game. I mean, it makes you able to get through the game really fast, but that's fine. It's a mod, man. Like, you're just meant to have fun. And I can definitely say it's fun to teleport around like that. Hey, Hecatson, thank you for the 18 months. Thank you, dude.
O horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered.
I mean, you can run past everything in the game anyways.
Inside the towers
Most of the time, it's not even hard to run past stuff.
perched within, we beg of thee, rise. Dance,
I don't think any of the they haven't really made that much progress on DLC stuff yet. Or maybe they have and they just haven't released a patch for it yet, but the DLC isn't really changed that much. Apparently there is upgrade materials in the DLC though, like that get you past plus a plus 10 weapon. Okay. Jesus. What am I doing, dude? I'm just like face tanking. I hate this fucking guy. The lightning form is so bad. No idea how that didn't hit me. HP is a resource too. It is. As long as you're not no-hit running. Wait, is it just the head that we got? All stats by 2. I mean, that's pretty good. Okay, we're definitely gonna need to transmog this helmet though. What, chat? I think this looks pretty good, dude. This, like, matches much better than the other helmet. Looks pretty good. Alright, anyways. So... maybe it's further up. Why are you broing me? Don't you fucking bro me. What does the armor do? Did we get... hold on, let me check. We didn't get armor. Maybe we can buy it from the remembrance, though. I thought maybe it would be up here. No. You can even use the teleport spell in the round table. Huh. I'm actually, like, kind of confused right now. I mean, I guess it's just the helmet. I mean, the helmet is really fucking good. Because the note says... Divine Beast set found after the Dancing Lion. Wait, after? Oh. Is... I wonder... the second one? There's only one lion in Bellerot. Did I miss something? No, I'm not getting all the classes. I'm just getting all the stuff. Well, I've been doing 2 classes on this run. I was doing Frenzy and also Storm. I started as the Storm guy, but I'm not going, like, I'm not gonna do any other classes other than that. I'm just gonna do another run. It's like not worth doing all the classes in one character. It's better to like restart, guys. To be honest. You're kind of meant to like make multiple characters.
An awesome choice, stranger.
Thank you for the 3-year resub, Smoke. Talk to the grandma with the head on. Yeah, maybe. I can go there, I guess. I need to get the key though, right? Wait, do I have the key? Is that... Oh yeah, I have the storeroom key. Oh, did it give me the storeroom key after I killed him? I guess that's probably more likely then, because you normally didn't get it from killing him. Because you normally get it just in that one, like, weird building. You picked it up along the way. Oh, did I? Well, I guess they changed the location then. Because I don't think I picked it up in, like... Wait a sec. Did I not? Oh, I think it's this one. I always get confused by the graces in this town. But if you get... I don't think it's talking to her then.
I have my and take they let them my oh my son.
Wait, what? we got the DLC ancestor ones, I guess. Rings of Spectral Light, Watchful Spirit. Oh, those are just DLC spells anyways, aren't they? Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, we have one Divine Beast armor. Maybe it's... That one isn't complete. Oh, okay. I guess they just have, like, the placeholder rune there, then. Alright, I think we should probably get out of the DLC. I don't know, it definitely feels like DLC is quite kind of, like, unfinished, so... Maybe the Divine Beast one isn't even... Maybe the full armor set of the Divine Beast isn't finished yet, either. They just have it in the note. I don't know. Or maybe I missed something. Kind of curious. Oh, there is the Horned Warrior Greatsword in a near limb. That's kind of... I don't know, that's gonna take me a while to get there, though. Oh, we should probably get the Frenzied Flame seal. I guess the fingerprint one is fine too, though. What monitor do I play on? I have like an Asus 144 Hertz 1440p monitor. The Blade of Distant Light. What's the size? Oh yeah, it's 27 inches. Alright, well... I kind of want to just go to try to get to Lake of Rot. Yes, it's massive. Let's see, where does Ainsel River take me? That not... Can I cast multiple of these? That thing is... That's fucking her up. I mean, it's just an easy... It's an easy boss anyways. To be fair. I mean, we could be so much stronger too, guys, because we can upgrade our melee weapon all the way to max at this point. Or actually, wait. Yeah, we can upgrade one weapon to max. Whee! Coming through. I love that the mod isn't afraid to just let you be OP and just fucking teleport around. I mean, I was just gonna run through that area either way, so like, I might as well just freaking teleport, you know? Our goal is to get to Lake of Rot, and that is what we shall do. The new Lake of Rot, chat. So yeah, the mod changes this area completely. A bunch of areas in the mod are like completely changed. I know I've said this a lot, but it's part of the reason why I like this mod so much. You know, I should probably get... Oh, you know what? Wait a sec, hold on. We can make a talisman that makes us immune to rot. Definitely worth doing that. I think it's warding, maybe? The teleporter. I mean, I guess I have the grace, so why not? Whoa. Is that where I came in? Yeah. I don't know if we want to go through here, or through this way or not. Because this just takes, this doesn't take me where I want to go. There's another way to get into the Lake of Rot. Oh, the ant spur's here. Cool. Oh my. I do a lot of damage. The charge R2 on this thing is kind of... What the... Kind of ass. Okay, man. Let me hit you! What the hell? Oh. Gotta light this. Radiant Ruin of the Dragonkin. Dragonkin sorceries. So I guess it's like, oh, it's bubbles. Oh, there's a bubble magic tree. That's pretty cool. Lightning bubbles? Yeah. I started as the Stormcaller class. What the? Bro! Fuck! Ew! Stop! Fucking... And then he falls down. Where... Fucking... Die! Oh my goodness. That guy was not nice. Not nice at all. Nice rot. Man, did you gotta fall off? That's okay. I have no idea where I'm going. This, you know, I think they tried to make this more like, it seems like Farron Swamp, kinda. I think the other one is up this way, maybe? Alright, it almost feels like that's... I mean, it's not in... Oh my god, don't kill me, please. How are you actually meant to get across here? Oh, maybe there's... I was gonna say, maybe there's something you raise up in the water? I guess that might still be possible. I don't think you can use torrent. This teleport spell is like built for this area. Ah. Holy. You walk on the invisible platform? Yeah, Porus? Yeah? Huh? Hmm? Hmm? Well, so in the Dark Souls 3 mod, there were also similar teleport spells. From what I remember though, in the DS3 mod, you could get it from, I don't know, there was like many different teleport spells, so there's probably other ones instead of just Cosmic Tunnel. If I had to guess. Could be wrong though. I don't remember when I got Cosmic Tunnel. There's actually a wiki though for Convergence mod, so I think you can just look it up. And I'm pretty sure it will tell you where it is. If you so desire. The Falling Beast. Ah. And Altus. I like how he managed to hit me during my teleport. God, that tracking is crazy. I don't know if I need to lift any of these, but I'm not trying to rush through this area. I mean, I know I'm teleporting around, but that's just to simply save time. I gotta say, the charge R2 on this weapon is cool, but it needs to do more damage. It does, like, the same damage as an R1. I don't really understand why. It's so bad. Not rushing, I'm just saving time. Yeah, exactly. You get it. I don't know how many of these I got a light. Aha, the path to the Grand Cloister has opened. Yellow armor needs to go. I like it. Actually, I can change the color. All right, you know what? I'll change the color for you. We'll make it look even better. And diet, I know. I just couldn't remember where it was. Well, the dyes work well for some armors, I think, but others, I guess, not. It just depends. A little bit of blood. Some putrid pink. The yellow is mainly gone. It's just like all white now. Looks pretty cool, honestly. Looks awful. Whoa. All right. Well, clearly we have different taste. I like my white armor. Goes with the storm build. True. You know. Oh. Rip. I didn't want to go up, and I thought I could drop down. 20% storm build. I mean, we're using a storm weapon. We're using storm armor. You can't use Cosmic Tunnel midair. If you could, that would be crazy. Alright, well, I think this is the path to the Grand Cloister. Although I'm curious. Wait a second. No, this isn't the path. Wait, what the hell is this? Is this where we lit one before? It is. Oh, okay. Am I okay? Oh, this ability is so good. It's so good. What the? Ooh. Ooh. Mystic incantation stuff. Hey, he's still spamming it, dude. Spell for speedrunners? Yeah, pretty much. There's going to be a speedrun bounty for Convergence, I think. Down the line. I might consider giving it a go. We'll see. It kind of depends what I'm like busy with at the time. Are you rot immune? Yeah, there's rot immunity talismans. A curative horn charm. Not it. Stop. Stop fucking rolling away, Snup it, you bitch! Sorry. Building other streamers. It's just an NPC. Rot armor. Faith and arcane. I gotta say the armor pieces that just give +2 all are like that's crazy. This mod for the DLC. You can do the DLC with this mod, but it's not. Oh. It's not really changed that much. Not even looking inside that room. What, do you mean the one after the grace? Bro, just give me a second. There's a chest here, alright? Alright, what did we get? Oh, it's also... Oh, it's Faith Arcane. Spellcasting speed by 40, immunity to rot, poison, death blight. Dude, some of these are like the effects. It's like so much. Increases absorption, decrease stamina cost of attacks, but increase the FP cost of spells. Pest thread spears. That's the DLC spell. Rot spray. Is this mod official? Not really sure what that means. I mean, the mod is... What the hell is that? The Vessel of Rot. I mean, there's no, like, FromSoft official mods, but... We're doing so much damage. I mean, I haven't even been... I could upgrade my weapon to like +10, man. I'm so OP. I didn't even buff my weapon. Oh my god. I mean, is this not just like Maggie's moveset? Take off talisman. I'm fighting the Vessel of Rot. Why would I take off my rot immunity? What do you mean? It's an entirely new boss? Well, I mean, the model is new, but that's still Maggie. Oh wait, it looks like Vicar Amelia, I just realized, at least a little bit. Oh, that's cool. The transform happened so late, though. Maybe there will be a phase 2. Hi, Maggie. I'm sorry. Wait. She's not dead. Oh, shit!
Oh.
Oh, wait. There's more. Is it the demon? Or am I fighting the demon princes now? Oh my god, I am, aren't I? I just had a feeling because of the... What the... Dude, I do so much damage. Why am I so OP? I mean, I think it's just demon princes. Maybe he has a slightly different moveset. Let him use his moves. I want to see if he has any, like, because it seems like it's mainly it's basically just, oh, he's doing the thing. Ah, yes. Can I jump this? No. Clearly Ishin, yeah. Oh shit! Oh, he's actually doing the phase stuff. It's cool. Yo, Mika, thank you so much. Oh my god. Playing with my food. Yeah, I just wanted to see if he was different at all. Get off the wall, buddy. Thank you so much for the raid, Mika. What is going on, everybody? I hope you, wow, 400,000 for that? That's crazy. The boss's moves do less damage than the thread spears. Yeah. Yeah, I was glad to see Miko was trying it today. The mods, it's a lot of fun. I will say, I feel like it's a little imbalanced. Like, I've been, after a certain point, you're probably gonna start just destroying everything. Without rot immunity, it's kind of fucked. Yeah, but it's not hard to get the rot immunity. I saw you did, you forget to level up anyways. Classic. Yeah, I saw you did, Castle Morn today. The buzzing noise? Yeah, that's the buff that I have on my character. So I have a spell. I can find it. It's a sorcery. It's this one. It causes an aura of Deathblight around the player, dealing holy damage and causing Deathblight buildup. I don't actually remember what Deathblight does in this mod. I think it might make enemies just take more damage or something. Yeah, it gives me damage and defense, but I lose like a ton of FP. Yeah. The noise is kind of annoying though. Absorption? Absorption is like your defense. Your defense or like damage negation, I believe. It's just another way of saying it. Wait a sec, can I still go? So I guess I can't go down. Yeah, well, we already fought Estelle. Alright, we need to go to Farum. I can't remember how to get to Farum. Yeah, thank you again for the raid though, Mika. What, oh yeah, you started as the class that I wanted to play. That was like actually the other choice that I had, the Dreadnought.
You, a house cat. Remember your... There's no...
We do have an imbued sword key. After Fire Giant. Yeah, I think in this mod though, you can't actually go after Fire Giant. What the hell is Ancestral Decay? How many of these keys do I have? Do I only have... Oh, I have 2. Alright, I'm gonna go here as well. Rot Lake. Oh. Well, this is gonna be disappointing. No, I mean, most of the time I don't necessarily want to know. I'm just speaking out loud. Just like explaining my thought process to you guys. Yeah, the Dreadnought weapon seems cool. Is this a famous only mod? No. Yeah, I did the Lake of Rot. You miss all the fun things? Oh, don't say that. It's okay. It's okay. It's a streamer only thing. Yeah, I mean, no, the mod is public for everyone. It's not. It's not streamer exclusive or anything. Oh my. I wanted to say something about that comment, but I'm not gonna. I'm trying not to get one guide more often. Or like I'm trying to avoid the one guys. I literally use face cam. Like, I'm not using one right now, but I'm not a no cam streamer anyways. Okay, alright, this guy is like actually being so toxic. I don't get it. Farewell, friend. I don't even know. Oh, what the? I mean, I was gonna give the guy a chance. Like maybe he was just doesn't. Maybe he just really likes people using camera. But that guy was clearly just being toxic as, as fuck. So yeah, good riddance. Wait a sec. Is there not? I thought I remember there being like another path here. FD rock pot. Is this an elevator? What the? You think Doom Dark Ages is up there with the other two modern Dooms? I think it's okay. I think slowing it down so much was not the best choice. I still had fun with it. I would say it's probably like my... I would say I preferred Eternal in 2016 more. Yeah, you can teleport in this mod. You get a blink. There's a blink ability. Pretty fucking sick, right? Pretty cool. Oh jeez. Oh no. Woo! Fine. we're fine. Everything's fine. Ooh. So what new areas did Mika do today? For people still here from the raid. I saw she did Castle Morn. I was like lurking for an hour or two this morning. I didn't see what she did after that though. Did she do any other new areas? Who was I calling toxic? Just some dent head in chat. You don't need to worry about it. It looks like there's two different ways I can go here. Always calling chat toxic. That's not even true, and I'm not even... I'm talking about one specific guy. What do you mean? Stop blowing that horn. Just keep swinging. One day I'll hit them. I want to get some like deep dish pizza tonight. I think I had deep dish pizza just like a week ago though. Does sound kind of good. You know, I wonder if Ella forces Mika to eat his banana pizza. Do you think Mika likes banana pizza? What? What do you mean don't say it like that? I am perfectly fine. I just know Ella gets... I was thinking about pizza, and then I was thinking about Ella and his banana pizza. And, you know, the thought just crossed my mind. I'm trying to get people to eat it at ESA. Yeah, he's like... He's trying to spread this notion that it's good. He's the only person on the planet that likes it. I tried banana pizza once. It was honestly, I feel like I didn't even really, I don't know, it was just like a cheese pizza with bananas, and somebody got it when I was at ESA like fucking 10 years ago. God, I don't even... No, it wasn't 10 years ago. It was like 6 or 7 years ago. And, yeah, it was... I mean, it wasn't, like, terrible, but it wasn't, like, good. Like, I want to get this again. It honestly just kind of tasted like a cheese pizza, but, like, slightly off. Like, something was wrong with it. Bananas. Yeah. But like it wasn't that noticeable though. Like the bananas were under the cheese, I think. So it was, I don't know, I feel like I could barely notice. I think they were. I don't know, it was a while ago. Isn't it sauced with curry? It might have been. I don't know. Well, whatever it was, it just tasted kind of like a normal pizza to me. Maybe I didn't try maybe whoever got it for me didn't give me the proper one. You know, whenever I visit the EU again, Ella will have to get me his favorite banana pizza. just to know for sure. Wait, I saw something up here, I thought. Saying it like it's a scandal. Can't stand bananas. I like bananas a lot. I was at the airport and I asked, they didn't have, they did a strawberry and banana smoothie. So I was like, can I just get a, you know, just a banana smoothie? And they were like so confused. Like nobody has ever done that before. And I was just like what the fuck is going on? They're like, what do you mean? What do you mean just banana? I do like strawberries, but I was in a mood for just, you know, just all banana. I wanted banana. Don't you dare hit me off the ledge. I don't know how that didn't hit me. Banana milkshake. Yeah, it's so good. All right, I don't know where the hell am I going backwards or forwards at this point? Like, am I even going the right way? This place is so confusing. Like, actually though, where the fuck am I? I don't want to get like a banana milkshake from Five Guys now. That sounds kind of good. What, chat? What? You never heard of Five Guys before? I want Five Guys bananas, yes. Okay, wait, the grace. You know, I think I could honestly just... No, that's too far. Maybe. I kind of feel like I might be able to, but maybe that's a bit too far. I think from down below, maybe? I think you could make that. Sick. Might be a little powerful, yeah. You don't say. They moved this dragon, or I think they did, right? Maybe you can climb it. Nah, you can't cast it midair.
Welcome home, Ashen One.
Can't wait for the Night Rain streams next weekend. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. The tournament is gonna be intense. Who's my teammate? I'm with Spicy and Lobos. Haven't got the +10 yet. I can get my weapon to +10. I feel like I'm gonna kill stuff so fast, I'm almost gonna feel bad about it, so I don't want to. Tournament? Yeah, so there's a Night Rain tournament on the 28th. Oh, yeah, there's a Night Rain tournament on the 28th. No way they paired you with Spicy. Well, we got to choose our own teammates, so I chose Spicy. The thing is, Spicy hasn't actually played Elden Ring in a while, so like, I mean, Spicy is one of the best gamers I know. Imagining Ella on your team. Yeah, I'm actually surprised there's Ella and Mika aren't like one of the team captains, or like they don't have a team. I guess it's because the tournament is it might just be US creators or like that for the captains because it's Bandai Namco US. I'm not sure. Yeah, the time zones would be, I guess, potentially an issue. And yeah, I guess like ping as well. That's true. They're doing something this weekend. Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So yeah, Bandai Namco EU must be doing something different for like Night Rain then. That's cool though. Is there a site with the teams? They announced it on Twitter. I don't know if there's a website though. What day is the tournament? The 28th. They're announcing them daily on Twitter. Well, they announced all the captains, and they're announcing like the team lineups each day on Twitter, I think. Yeah, they're announcing like a new one each day. Right, this is where or wait. Oh my god, I'm so confused. Yeah, Oro's on Fighting Cowboys team. Sequence break and get lost. Well, I mean, I know where Malekith is, obviously. I guess we can still go do Placidus Axe, though. I hope I didn't skip too much of the zone. I might have. But I mean, it's okay. What the? I'm like, that was weird. I was stuck on something. For 300. Honestly, dude, like Ring of Blades +2 and oh, what the fuck? The fat DLC guys here. Ring of Blades +2 and Flynn's Ring is like so important for actually doing like big damage. Doomknight Freya and fuck dads. Yeah, that's rough. Chicken leg. I wanted to do I wish I got the smelter hammer more often in my randomizer runs. It's pretty rare, and it's hard to use it because it has such high stat requirements. Going back to the start of Farum. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing right now. Did my Discord get hacked? I hope not. I think you're probably just talking to an impersonator. The heck is this? I wonder if this is the way to Placidus Axe. Wait, what the? Yeah, there's a lot of people that try to impersonate my account, and I don't even know what they're trying to get. I guess trying to get people to pay them for just I don't know. I don't know. I don't really feel like surely there's better people to impersonate than me if you're trying to convince somebody of something. I don't know, but I guess like, I just don't see myself as being like some figure where it's like people are gonna, you know what I mean? Like, why not impersonate? I don't know. Like, why me? That's what makes it believable. Yeah, maybe, I guess. I need you to send me gift cards so I can keep playing Elden Ring. We should probably, I don't know where the heck I'm going. We should probably just go teleport. You know, I think, I actually, Farum was actually changed. Farum was changed when I played this mod. I'm getting like, deja vu in this spot right here. Like I remember this spot. This exact location is in the base game. Yeah, but not in this, like, not in this layout. No? It is? Okay, well. know then. I'm just gonna go back to the Great Bridge. Yeah, this place is kind of confusing in the mod. I'm not sure how I feel about Ferrum so far, but I did also kind of sequence break, so I don't really have a good indication of what the area is like, supposed to be like normally. You know what I mean?
Who approacheth destined death.
It does a lot of damage, actually. Did this mod change any attack patterns for bosses? There's some new bosses. Some bosses are like modified slightly. I would like to see more of the base game's bosses changed up a bit, but I don't know, maybe they plan on doing that, I really don't know. Or maybe the difficulty in Convergence, like their goal for the difficulty in Convergence is to be the optional, like, endgame bosses, I guess. Or maybe not optional, but... a lot of the bosses are mostly the same, and then, you know, you're so strong in this mod. Non-human skeleton enemies are probably pretty hard to change. Yeah, for sure. I mean, what you see a lot of mod creators do, and what Reforged does, is they basically just speed up, like, all the bosses and make them very, like, resistant to a lot of stuff. But that's not necessarily the best way to add difficulty. Whoa. Oh. We got... He fell into the pillar. That's funny. attack. I was honestly like the teleport is cool, but I'm kind of just goofing around. I could have just killed him if I wasn't teleporting around. Yeah, that attack fucks you up. No, I haven't done the Halig tree yet. God dang it. The Chaos Beam does not do that much damage. This is not that good. Fifth Keystone of the Forge. And the map for Farum. Oh, that's nice. Let's go turn in our maps. Right, so when we have all the keystones... Wait, where do we use the keystones? Was that after Fire Giant still? Oh yeah, they're called, what, Keystones of the Forge, so I think so. I wonder if it's faster to use torrents or use this spell. Ta-da! Holy shit. That's so cool. Does this take me to Ash? Oh, it takes me up. Oh, it just takes me up here and then I still go to Ashen Capital, I guess. That wasn't in the main game. Yeah, this is a mod. The Stalker Enhanced Edition? I don't know. Probably not. Listen to the sounds of flame. Is Elden Ring a difficult game to get good at? I mean, it depends what your subjective, what good means to you. I mean, being good at Elden Ring is kind of subjective, right? Like, to somebody, being good at Elden Ring could be speedrunning the game really fast, or being able to no-hit it, or being able to do, you know, challenge runs, being really good at PvP. I mean, Souls games are honestly pretty easy speedruns. Or, well, okay, I shouldn't say they're easy, because they're definitely not easy, but the main difficulty of a Souls run is the boss fights. Like, there isn't move tech or, you know, like platformer games, like platformer speedruns, you have to be on point the entire time, whereas with Souls speedrunning, you know, when you're running between the bosses, there isn't that much skill involved. I mean, it's mainly just managing your stamina properly and taking straight lines. I mean, the most difficult part of Souls runs is boss execution and then menuing. Well, and skips. Yeah, so skips can definitely like amp up the difficulty a lot too. I wonder if this is still the same. Is the Halig tree different in the mod, by the way? Am I gonna have Night Rain early access? Well, I mean, I'll be playing it 2 days before release for the tournament. When's the tournament? 2 days before release. I don't know I don't know exactly what time. Oh, right, I remember this. This was... Yeah, this guy comes in and shanks fucking Gideon. That's gonna hurt. Oh, no. Oh my gosh, that double hits. Dude, these tail follow-ups, I don't know if he like input reads that. It's so fast. Remembrance of the Crucible's betrayer. Let's go see what we can get from his weapon. Ace tank every boss from now on. Yeah. You got to this boss and 3-shot it. Yeah, I could be a lot stronger right now. I didn't actually upgrade my stuff more because I feel bad killing the bosses so fast. I can't actually see which one is from the guy though. Great Staff of Decay. Ooh. Oh, Hadia? This one? Did I get the new frenzy weapons? No. Look at my damage, dude. Plus 540. What's a new sword do? We'll try it. Pretty cool. So many cool weapons in this mod, man. There is level 1 specific armor in the mod, which is pretty cool. Being able to buff and drink Estus while running feels like hacks. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's been a long while, Morgoth. Long and hard didst thou fight,
tarnished warrior, spurned by the grace of gold.
Are there any other new bosses, chat, that I've like missed? By the way, I guess there probably are.
Resteth close at
Are you skipping sewers? We already did the whole sewers.
Alas, I am returned. To be granted audience once more. Upon my name as Godfrey, the first Elden Lord.
That will be all. Thou didst me good service.
Don't I have some nuclear spells to use? I've been trying some of the madness stuff. I don't know. The melee honestly seems pretty fucking good though.
I've given thee courtesy enough.
Now I fight as Horalu. Warrior!
Oh, I almost got hit by that. Annoys me you can't roll that. He actually would have missed me with that. He's gonna get stunned from this. Can you not stagger him out of that?
Thy strength befits same crown.
Sorry, Godfrey. Or Lou. Gargs have a replacement. Okay. You know what? I really want to get some dinner, chat, and I don't want to. I was planning on doing a pretty short stream today, so I think I might just call it here. I don't know if I want to beat the game yet, because I might want to. I know, chat. Don't cry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. I don't know if I want to hunt down the other bosses that I haven't done yet. on this character. I think I might just next time we stream Convergence, I think I guess we'll just beat the game, and then we'll make maybe a new character and try to do some of the other bosses we haven't done yet. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Most new bosses you missed are for Arcane Faith classes. I see. Oh, you know what? We also missed we missed our better storm spells. The Radiant Rune. Or wait, did we miss it? I guess we did. Yeah. Maybe it's from Placidusax or something. I don't know. More stream, please. No. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call it a night. I was planning on doing a pretty short stream anyways. I was gonna end like half an hour ago, but I went a bit longer since we got the raid from Mika, which was very nice of her. Yeah, I will I'll be back tomorrow, chat. We've got some like sponsored stuff we're doing tomorrow. We've got the Doom sponsor, but we'll also probably we'll do some Convergence mod. We also have this like Jeopardy thing, like Souls Jeopardy that I'm doing on Domo's channel. I've got a lot of random stuff I'm doing tomorrow. Oh yeah, Lobos is actually Lobos will be on the Souls Jeopardy as well. Or is it Jeopardy? I don't know. It's some sort of like a trivia thing. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you, anybody who stuck around from Miss Mika's raid. I'm gonna go get some dinner and chill out. I will be back tomorrow morning or maybe like afternoon. We'll see.